Is this book worth the hype? Let's find out. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Paris. Welcome. We are finally going to be reading Fourth Wing. I have been wanting to read Fourth Wing for a hot minute now. I remember the very first day this book came out, everyone was going crazy about the sprayed edges, and I think that's honestly what made this book so popular to begin with. Obviously, that's not what I have here, but I held off on reading this book and getting it this month. So far, it hasn't been a bad reading month, but I have been left a little bit unsatisfied, a little bit disappointed, because everything that I've read has been very well hyped. And if this one's a letdown, I will be like really upset. We're gonna take the dust jacket off and we are going to start this book tonight. We got the map, we are good to go. We also have the map of the actual war college, which is pretty cool as well. I like that. Hopefully, guys, I'm serious, please say a quick prayer for me, because I really want a 5-star read this month. But not even just a 5-star, even a 4.5 will make me super happy. But I need something that's going to like knock me off my feet. I didn't mention this is gonna stay spoiler free for most of the video. I think if I feel like putting spoilers, it will be at the end of the video. Let's read Fourth Wing. I'm so excited. Okay, my thoughts so far with the book. I am now at chapter 5. A lot of people said this book is really easy to get into. The world building isn't much, but there is a lot of information that is being dumped at the beginning. Obviously, very typical for a fantasy. So far, I am enjoying it. It gives a little bit of a Hunger Games vibe. It is a war college and there's different quadrants. So there's like healers, scribes, and this is focused on the riders quadrant. Violet, her mother is like a general of some sort, and her mom kind of like forced her into being a rider. From what I'm kind of gathering, she has some sort of disability or weakness. There was like this really intense scene at the beginning. There is like this bridge of some sort that they have to cross, and if you fall, you fall to the death and you're not coming back. So you have to cross that to get over to the riders quadrant. Also, one of Violet's best friends is a second year at the school. He is trying to look out for her, and it's giving very much love triangle vibes. It's giving Gale Hawthorne vibes from the Hunger Games. So far, I feel like this would be a really great movie, honestly, and I will not be surprised if it hasn't been done already. I won't be surprised if a production company gets the rights for this movie, because I can just see it being done. I am loving that Violet is this very intellectual person. Her strength comes from her mind, and it is really helping her a lot so far. She's allowing her mind to be her strength. It reminds me so much of Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. I do really hope this one friend that she has is not going to betray her in the end, because her sister did warn her about like making friends. I've mentioned before, I feel like there's going to be a love triangle between Dane, Xaden, and Violet. Dane being Violet's best friend since childhood, and the way that he's caring for her, I can tell he clearly has some sort of feelings for her. He's giving off Tamlin vibes. He's like very overprotective. He's like the type that's like, you know, stay away from the danger, kind of hide yourself away. So he's giving off Tamlin in that sense, like very much like, let me shield you from everything rather than let you be your own person and kind of figure things out. All right, guys, so it's the next day and I'm now on chapter 13. I am really enjoying this book. I still have like 350 pages to get through, which is almost like an entire book in itself. Obviously, I wouldn't say that I'm gonna word all of this correctly. Please bear with me. There are like different levels to this process to become a rider. So I just passed the gauntlet scene where they did the presentation day and all of that. With the gauntlet, I thought it was such like an interesting situation. My only issue with reading it was it was very hard to put it together in my mind. It was hard to imagine what the author was creating here. Like, I was really struggling to put it in my head. I last ended off with you guys right before the threshing. Basically, the threshing is when the dragons choose the riders they want to bond to. When a dragon is bonded to a human, they are able to communicate like mentally with each other. I just read the threshing scene and wow, I kind of guessed what her outcome would be, but there was like a little bit of a twist to it, which I kind of like. As soon as I got, like, you can just tell by my tabs that once I got to around like page 100, somewhere around there, I've just started to kind of read a lot faster. Good morning. I just finished chapter 32. Things are getting real. Something crazy is clearly gonna happen because I am on page 423 when there's like 500 pages. So we already know something's gonna go down. As soon as I got to page 400, I'm like, oh my gosh, we are getting to that point in a fantasy book where things just hit the fan. And I know this book is gonna end off on a cliffhanger, so I'm really nervous about that. Dane is getting real annoying, Violet's best friend. He's very wishy-washy. When she tells him, like, you know, you kind of need to relax on how overprotective you're getting, you kind of gotta let me figure my stuff out, and he'll be like, okay, and then 2 seconds later he's back to like being really pissed off about something, and it's just getting really annoying. I really am enjoying the found family, all of her friends, Sawyer, and I really like Liam as well, and I'm really loving Xaden. He does remind me a lot of Rhys. I'm starting to understand why people compare him to Rhys from ACOTAR, because there are a lot of similarities. I feel like he's one of those people that has like the hard exterior. He's been through a lot in his life. I think he takes care of his people. Like, he's that type of person. We're getting to the point where somebody is gonna die. Like, someone really important to her is going to die. I'm very confident of it. I really hope it's not the character I'm thinking about, because I really do like this character. I really think this book is one of those fantasy books that should have had like a guide at the beginning of how to pronounce a bunch of things. From what I've heard, this book, like, the dragons' names are all Scottish Gaelic words, but I found someone on TikTok who clarified all of it, so that helped me out a lot. I don't want it to end. I'm loving it so much. I don't want it to end, but I also really want to know everything, and I also want to get through it before I spoil something for myself. So I'm finished, and I think I'm gonna reread this last page one more time. What a way to end the book. Just know this book ends on a cliffhanger, and it's an amazing cliffhanger. I'm really glad that it wasn't a cliffhanger where like something bad happens. Let me just say that everything just comes together so well. The storyline is amazing, and when you look back at certain things, you're just like, okay, everything makes sense. I was literally out there while my husband's playing video games, and I was like slapping his leg when I got to the end of this book, because I'm just like, I was really hoping that I would rate it 5 stars, and I definitely give this book 5 stars. I loved it from the very beginning, but it wasn't even just specifically the dragons in the book. It's just the story and the idea of like a war college where there are dragon riders and things like that. I'm so excited for Iron Flames to come out. If you're wondering if this is worth the hype, I think it is. I do think, obviously, not everything is for everyone, but for me, I loved it. The fact that this is Rebecca Yarros' first fantasy is amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching if you got this far in the video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next one. I absolutely loved the Gauntlet chapter because of Violet succeeding, and she kind of like bent the rules a little bit, since Xaden had told her the right way not being the only way or something like that. So she basically took his advice and she kind of bent the rules a little bit. She did something different while completing the gauntlet, and the way that little scene when one of the other wing leaders were like complaining about what she did, and he was kind of just like, well, she did it. I actually really love that, because you can tell that he was proud that she listened. Obviously we know that he wanted to kill her or whatever, but something's telling me that he already had a bit of a soft spot for her like earlier on. I feel like maybe the minute he saw her, he kind of like changed his mind on killing her. I have no idea. This guy, I don't even know how you say his name, but he just wouldn't stop talking. I think he has blue hair or something. There's just one guy, he just kept crapping on this dragon because it's small, and saying that, oh, like, who would want that to bond with them, and blah blah blah. And I was just hoping the whole time that Violet actually does bond with that one, because, and they both like come out on top and show like how strong they are. But I'm just surprised no dragon killed this guy. Okay, the threshing scene, when the professor mentioned this black dragon and how it's like the biggest one, it's rare, it hasn't come back to bond with a human in a long time. I was like, okay, that's gonna be her dragon. And then we hear about this gold one that kind of represents her in a way, because it's like seen as the weakest one, and it turns out she ends up bonding with both of them. You were the underdog of the season, and here you are showing up with 2 dragons, the biggest and the smallest one. I love the fact that Jack was like, I'm getting this black dragon when he saw it in class, and look who has it now. I am honestly loving whenever Andarna talks to Violet. She's just so sweet. It's so cute every time she talks to Violet. I don't know why page 331 really got me when Xaden and Violet were like split up because she went away. She was like, how long can mated dragons stay apart? And then Xaden just walks up and he's like, apparently only 3 days. And I'm just like, I don't know why that scene got me. Like, I loved it so much. I had to tell my husband about it and he was just like, I am really nervous that Liam is gonna die because I think he and Violet have the closest like bond as friends. I am just worried he's gonna be the one that dies because I know that someone she cares about is gonna end up dying in this book. Okay, so I finished the book. First of all, I had a feeling that somebody who was seen as dead was going to be alive, and turns out it's Violet's brother, which just makes the story 1,000 times better because of the fact that she just learned the school is hiding so much, and just like in general so much is being hidden. Her brother was pretty much sacrificed for this secret. It's crazy to me to think that her brother's been alive this whole time, and he's also a mender, which I totally forgot was his power. So when Xaden had taken her after her like horrific fall and her being poisoned, her brother was the one who healed her. It makes me happy to know that Xaden and Violet's brother in some way were connected this entire time because it just makes their story so beautiful. Of course, he hid a lot of these things from her, but I'm like, Violet girl, move on, because who cares about all that? I understand that you are questioning a lot, but just see it for what it is. Like, you're fine. This man has saved you so many times and your brother's alive. I also wanted to point out the moment when they were battling against like the Venom, the one that climbed onto her dragon and she decided to unbuckle herself, which is a huge deal obviously because she needed her seat in order to stay on her dragon. When she unbuckled herself and stood up, that's supposed to be a big deal, but it felt like she just like killed this Venom in 2 seconds. That specific scene I felt like could have been extended a little bit. She kind of just got it done, you know, but it is what it is. And then I didn't even mention, I knew it. I told you guys Liam was gonna die and I'm sad. I literally had tears in my eyes reading that scene. It was the saddest thing ever, especially because he told her to please take care of my sister, the sister that he didn't even get to be with after their parents got killed. So I'm excited for the next book. I do wonder if it's going to be something where she goes back to the college for her 2nd year and is kind of pretending that she doesn't know all these things that just happened. I don't know. Every time I come out of a 5-star read, I have such a hard time wanting to pick up another book. And that's how I feel now. I'm like, what can I possibly read after just having finished this book? I do not know.